Moving on to item 3, Dallas Children's Theater, making an impact. I believe Ms. Flatt is going to address us today. Take it away.
Hello. Turn it over to Sandra to begin.
Well, thank you so much. We're so grateful for a moment of your time today to celebrate the many ways our children have benefited from the partnership between Dallas Children's Theater and the City of Dallas over the years. I'm Sandra Session Robertson, Senior Director of Communications and Philanthropy at Dallas Children's Theater, and I'm proud to be here with Robin Flatt, Executive Artistic Director. Now, as background, Dallas Children's Theater was founded in 1984 out of a growing community need for high-quality entertainment for children and families. Having spent years responding to the city's priority for having bilingual theater in the park during the summer in every district in the city, Robin, along with co-founder Dennis Vincent, were just the right people to create this resource that is Dallas Children's Theater. It's up and running, and indeed it has become a unique and recognized treasure both locally and nationally. We are located at Northwest Highway in Skillman in what some of you may remember as the old Don Carter Bowling Alley. Each year, Dallas Children's Theater delivers a season of plays, provides in-school and after-school programming, and all of this programming has a major literacy component. It also takes an alternative learning approach, which research has shown is particularly beneficial for children with learning differences and language barriers. DCT also has a very popular theater academy with a range of classes for ages 3 to 18 and a national touring company that travels to as many as 26 states and 52 cities to deliver theater to children and people who might not otherwise be able to get it in their community. Now, there are at least 250,000 children and parents with us today in spirit. They join us in their thank yous, their return visits, their stories of DCT's impact on their lives. They join those of us in attendance today to thank you for the years of support you have provided to this organization and to encourage continued and expanded partnership that secures this treasure for future generations. So while all of them could not be physically here to see you today, we want you to meet a representative sample. You've seen a few in pictures already. Now, in this video, we'd like to introduce you to Joanne, Andy, Quaisha, Vernice, and little Davinique.
Joanne Goldblatt, and this is I'm Joanne Goldblatt, and this is Andy, my husband, and our daughter Emily. And we have a son named Ryan Goldblatt who was born almost 8 years ago, a little over 8 years ago. He was diagnosed with a brain tumor when he was 16 months old. And he fought a hard life, and he was so brave and so courageous, and he was just a wonderful, wonderful kid.
You know, taking him to the theater was one of the things that, you know, it was great. I mean, he loved it, and Emily loves it, and we think that there's a lot of kids that, you know, don't get the opportunity to see it, whether they're sick or not. You know, that it's something that I think is really amazing to watch a kid reaction to a live performance.
We just had this feeling like we knew that Ryan loved it. Kids just love to be here. And we thought, you know, there's so many kids in the hospital who just aren't able to come. They're too sick, their accounts are low, they can't get out for whatever reason. You know, a lot of times when they are home and when they do get to go out, the parents just aren't thinking about, well, let's do something cultural with the kids. You know, they're just thinking about, well, what are we going to do today? You know, so I thought it would be wonderful to bring the theater to the kids.
The parents aren't going to come to the theater on their own. I mean, they need someone to stick tickets in their hand and push them out the door and say, go, do this, have an afternoon of fun, and that type of thing. So I think he would be thrilled of what we're doing, because I know we had a lot of fun doing it.
Well, Davinique down there has a brain tumor, which is called optic glioma. So we get chemotherapy up there every other week right now. I thought it would be a wonderful opportunity for my kids to get some kind of other culture in their lives. and get a break from all the pressure and stress that we have every other day.
I like the show very much. I like the part when there was the Chihuahua and Skippy Jones, John Jones, in his bedroom. The song was very, very interesting. I liked it very much.
Oh, I think it meant the world to Davinique. Davinique enjoys acting and singing and things that she likes the arts. She's very artistic and creative, so this was very helpful for her.
I hope I can do this another day and see another kind of show.
These kids go through so much, and if I can just help them have an extra smile in their day, then it's all worth it. And, you know, I just want to say to them, hang in there, keep up the fight, you're doing great, and good luck.
A child at life's end has a joyful experience with Dallas Children's Theater, and then his family is inspired to help other sick children have a similar inspiring experience. Now, we regularly hear stories like this on a regular basis from families of just absolutely every culture. And here, next, you'll see students from John Neely Bryant Title I DISD school. These children, there the slide is, when these children are seeing theater probably for the very first time. And Dallas Children's Theater, through our matinee series, serves up to about 50,000 school students every year during that school day. And it's a program that you've helped support and one that clearly aligns with the Council's focus on education. Now, most children from higher socioeconomic backgrounds are regularly exposed, as we know, to extracurricular learning opportunities all the time, like theater, like dance, like music, museums. They travel, and they have private art lessons or music or dance lessons, and all as a part of their well-rounded education and part of activating all learning surfaces. But current brain research tells us that all children need opportunities like this to develop their nerve networks if they are to fulfill their potential and contribute positively to the community. I think it's a matter of equity. Now, DCT's Student Matinee Performance Series is one of the most affordable and measurable ways to provide live theater and art-centered instruction to underserved children. Last year, 42% of our matinee audiences came from Title I schools. Now, another thing is that when Dallas Children's Theater learns of a problem, we're in position to be able to act upon that. For instance, we had a student come in and we realized that this student had been bullied out of her school. As a result, we gathered together, we commissioned a playwright to develop a play about bullying. And then later we developed a play about eating disorders, then one's about dating violence, one about learning differences, about the teen brain, et cetera. So these plays are very well crafted to help these students understand more about how their brain works. And we provide it in a lecture-free space so that teens can understand what's going on in their world and give families a chance to talk about these subjects. We also bring in experts from the field who help carry on a dialogue following the performance so that they can really understand and ask questions about the situations. Teens even say to us, well, how in the world did you know that's the way we talk? How did you know that's what we do? So some teens even seek out their parents after seeing one of these shows and say, you know, I have a friend who's behaving just the way that character on stage was doing. And that starts a pattern of reaching out to that student and helping them. We also have parents that come to us and say, you know, we had this terrible tragedy in our life. Our daughter tried to commit suicide, but the rope broke and it didn't. She wasn't successful, but of course now she'll have to have care for the rest of her life. And they want to see what it was that they did, maybe see if they can find out what it was that they did that might have caused that situation.
As further evidence of our responsiveness to community issues, when we learned about the nearly 300,000 children and families who are excluded from live theater experiences because they have a child with sensory sensitivities, we got busy creating specially adapted performances for families like these. On show day, we tell them to come as they are, and the quotes that are included in this packet I'm going to give you at the end are evidence of the appreciation they have for DCT and their view of our space as their second home. And these little darlings are from VMLC, or formerly Vickery Meadow Learning Center. As you can see, their parents are watching proudly in the backdrop as the teacher encourages them to express or act out whatever character or object she describes. At DCT, learning is a fun experience that you don't forget. It's like learning to sing the ABCs, and who doesn't have fond memories of that? Each summer, city librarians tell us how much they look forward to rewarding children who have read books with a trip to DCT, because it is a prize tied directly to literature. DCT actually started the summer program here in Dallas and was proud to be one of the partners when this program became a part of the mayor's initiative. Today, we distribute as many as 10,000 free tickets each year through this program and others like it, all designed to ensure price is not a barrier to a child being able to experience live theater. And then there's Rosemont Elementary in Oak Cliff, where DCT has had a program for over 20 years. I've personally been to the culminating play at the end of the year, and the pride that community feels seeing those children up on stage just envelops you. And the kids love their teacher, Carl, who taught them about nouns and verbs by creating Noun Town and Verb Burb. Our long-standing relationship with Notre Dame Elementary is another example of our commitment to all children.
It was written in a white paper that while children make up just 25% of our population, they are 100% of our future. And research backs up the fact that theater with its multisensory approach best supports the way the brain takes in information. You know, theater is dynamic. So scientists even tell us that we tap into emotion first. It's the best means of paving the way for receptivity to core academic subjects. Now, for 30 years, this is what we've done. DCT is among only a handful of organizations in the Dallas area doing such comprehensive work under one roof. We have the potential to serve even more children and provide more programming, and are poised to do so with your continued and expanded partnership. Without question, this work is a great springboard for helping meet the city's priorities about education, arts, and culture. Whether we are out in schools or in our own building or some other place in the community, we are driven by a singular purpose to inspire children to creative and productive lives through the art of theater. Producing our programs is challenging, labor-intensive, and requires deep dedication. I hope you feel proud of our results and the amazing returns to the whole child, to families, and to the entire city of Dallas. I want to ask those joining us in support of this work and its power, if they would please stand. We have board members, staff members, community supporters, and I believe VMLC is also here. Thank you all. Now, all three of us and these darling children want to extend a personal invitation to each of you to come and see our work firsthand. One of our board members will call you and hopefully secure a date soon, because we really want you to have a firsthand glimpse of our production, our magnificent journey, our education, and its inspiration. As Ryan's dad said in the video, seeing a child's imagination sparked through a theater experience is truly something special. Now, your support has played a major role in our existence today, and we are hopeful that our continued and expanded partnership can secure this legacy for the next 30 years. Thank you again for your commitment to arts and culture and education, and to strengthening the learning in the city of Dallas. Together, We can use this unique power of theater and the incredible resource our city has in DCT to raise the bar for all our young people. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your presentation. Ms. Gates?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for that really informative information. I know I've had the opportunity to meet with some of your board members, and I am proud of the programs that you're offering to the entire city. So, and particularly, I commend you on taking on the difficult issues, because I think, like you pointed out, it does open those conversations with the children that, you know, it's difficult to have with teenagers that pretty much don't want to talk to you during all their teenage years. So maybe if you're sharing an experience, you know, of one of your performances, then it opens that conversation, lets you talk about a difficult topic. And I also, that what you're doing with the sensory, I know it's not a lot of children, but I think you've just got a big grant from Crystal Charity recently to help with that.
We did, and we're very excited about that.
Which I know they do a lot of due diligence before they commit to money. So, and they like things that it helps a lot of people, and this is, you know, a smaller group, but I think it's so important because this group is so underserved.
There's 300,000.
Oh, 300,000. Okay.
300,000 people.
Oh, that's not small, so that's good. But there's not a lot of services geared towards that population.
Very little,
so
yes.
Thank you for going out there and seeing an issue and taking care of it. But most importantly, if we don't inspire our kids to love art, then the future of our, you know, of art and culture won't exist in the future in our city of Dallas. And we've said that to be a great city, we have to show our value in the arts and culture, and we've got to instill that with the youth, because, like you said, they are 100% of our future. I'm thrilled that you bought your own building and that you're operating it, but I know that tends, you know, that causes a lot of financial burden on you. And I think this is something, and this is kind of geared to Joey, we've got to figure out, when we start funding arts with our limited resources through OCA and others, really understanding, you know, when we are providing buildings, when we're not providing buildings, the indirect support, and I know we've discussed this, but you don't want to, I don't think the ones that, we end up penalizing the ones that become self-sufficient and that still contribute at a very remarkable level at our city, and we can't do that. So, but thank you again for your presentation, and hopefully, you know, we can be creative and make sure, you know, we want to be good partners to you for the city, and you're doing good work.
Thank you, Ms. Gates. Vice Chair Alonso.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We're going to first. Thank you very much for this presentation, and thank you for coming to not only sharing it with us, the committee, but also to the public as a whole through our television and radio. I think it's important for our audience to know what facilities we have, what services we have, but especially what partners we have and what we provide to our constituency. Earlier today, we learned about how many seniors or how many individuals over the age of 60 we have in the city, and you're telling us how many children, and that percentage, if you combine it, that is exactly what you, for the most part, that's what you see at your theater. Because a lot of times, and I know firsthand because I've seen it, is a lot of the grandparents take the children to these places, and I'm sure that there's a lot of them here today. So it's important for us to not only continue to provide the services, but this partnership that we have. As well as I am appreciative of who all you have reached out, not only in regards to color, but also in the assistance that you've provided in their own special family ways. And I will add to, along with, as you did with, and you're going to do with some of the programs that you've had and the theaters, but also the how you've reached out to many different walks of life. So, and that is, I believe, maybe based on the communication that you've had with not only your board members, with your community that surrounds you, but also those that come and visit you frequently, and how can we do better, how can we expand, how can we reach out to more people. And I am truly appreciative of the part of being invited to be a part of that. So thank you, and I look forward to continuing with not only with the partnership that we have with you, but telling everybody else about the kinds of programs that you have and what you provide to our citizens. Thank you very much for everything that you've done throughout the years and the years to come. So I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Mr. Allen.
You bet. Hey, those are good pictures. You know, there's a lot of life in those pictures, and I mean, just like that, those 3 kids, every one of them's got really a neat personality that's coming out in them. So just neat pictures. And one of the neat things that when you looked at all those pictures, didn't seem like anyone was left out. You kind of covered the whole spectrum of all of us folks that are out there, and that's pretty cool.
We work at it.
You talked about expanded partnership because Councilwoman Gates made a good point, you know, owning your building, and we have other groups that do that, and they have similar challenges that are there. On the expanded partnership, about right now, about how much do you get from the city?
We received just almost 2% of our budget from the city.
Okay. And that expanded partnership, if we were looking at the budget, and Joy was really trying to work with the Cultures Affairs Committee and such, what percentage, what would you be looking, I mean, not percentage, but dollar-wise, if you, I mean, without over-asking, you know, but not under-asking?
Well, we're a little hesitant to just throw a number out, but we do. If we look at our education programs, we know the school matinee performance series. There's a $500,000 gap there. If we look at our building,
and these are all the kids that come from the schools.
This is the 50,000 students that come, yeah, because all of those students have to have reduced tickets, and some of them have to have even further reduced tickets, and some have to have 0. So that, you know, we don't want to turn any children away, because that's our middle name. That's what we're about. Then we also, on the building itself, we still owe $1 million, but we've paid for everything else. We've covered the $14 million that it cost, the 14 of the $15 million that it cost. But we have just operating and maintenance expenses on the building of about $350,000. And yet we do provide a lot of other arts groups come in, or all kinds of groups come in for rehearsal space and performance space. And so we're a very good partner, and we work very closely with them. If they can't afford anything, we still try to do our best to give them a space to work. So we're very much connected to the community, very involved with the community, very much a part of it, and very much wanting to help other groups that as they evolve and emerge, because we were helped very much through Dr. Lassiter and the Dallas County Community College District. But now we're trying to stand on our own, but frankly, we've got to have some help if we're going to be here in the future. So that's the reason we're coming to you, and I hope we can take this opportunity, use today as a launching pad to get into a real discussion about what would be the right level of support to ensure our future.
Okay, well, that's...
Sandra, do you have anything?
I think that's a good, very good points, and with the conversation, because we can see what an asset, what a jewel this is. And again, I'll say it again, no one was left out, and that was pretty neat to see that. So thank you all for what you're doing. Thank the board too for y'all's energy that goes into this. It's truly a passion. It's truly a passion. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Judge Hill, do you have any questions or comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do not have any questions because 2 of your board members were kind enough to come and visit with me extensively last week, so I have no questions. I do commend you, as others have, on the fact that we see everybody in your pictures. Oftentimes, I have to look at pictures and go, are there any black people who do this? I didn't have to do that with yours. It was very clear that you're serving everyone. I commend you, and I'm hopeful that the council will be able to assist you with some additional funding. I won't be around. I vaporize soon, but hopefully the council will be able to assist you. Thank you very kindly for your presentation and your service. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Judge. I'll just follow up by saying I think my colleagues' comments are all correct. The Children's Theater has no natural enemies in the habitat of Dallas arts funding, except the common natural enemy that we always face, which is scarcity. I know that we all value you highly, but it's sometimes hard to tell that from the budget that we produce. You know that I am committed to working on that. You're in a unique situation, and one that this committee has discussed extensively over the last year and a half and is not finished with as a policy matter, which is how do we treat the varying circumstances of tenants in city-owned buildings and operators who have their own buildings. And there are a lot of considerations there. Those are not apples and apples. They do get compared differently. And as much as we want you to be vibrant and serve the needs of so many children in this area, we want to make sure that the incentives and funding that we give you contributes to that mission. And to the extent that we can find a sustainable way to replace the air conditioner when it needs to happen, we need to figure out whose responsibility that is. And I can't tell you that I really know the answer to that question. But what I'm willing to listen to, and I hope that you've seen this, is that we are willing to listen to proposals from DTC to make sure that we all fulfill our mission of providing arts and culture activities to everybody in the city. And you guys have picked out a very tailored mission. Your audience is big but well-defined, and so that I think that probably weighs in your favor in terms of producing advocacy materials to help us give you what you need. Very much appreciate you being here today. Get with me sooner than later on budget stuff, and that that's not an admonition. I know what my schedule looks like, so just get with me as soon as possible, and let's figure out what makes sense in terms of sustainability, which is what we're all aiming for. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you, and I'll leave you with a few handouts that have some more information.
Great. Thanks so much, Sandra. Let's move on.